Welcome everybody. This is instructional video number 4. We're going to talk more about the light cell energy frequency body of light today. And we're going to talk about the hidden aspects that get in our way of clearing our light cell energy frequency. Many alignments are held in, as I hear it, a confinement. They're brought to the earth to align with higher lights, but when we're stuck in a particular grid of time, we can't be co-aligned with our higher divinity mind. I always refer to that as our third eye, dimensional mind, our higher insight. That is the sight that projects our image down the future timelines and the generational codes that combine with that. When we're lifting off from these other obstructions in the light, like the old progressions of timelines and time codes, we're given enough light to resurrect or bring to light our energy codes that we were given once upon a time down our future genetic timelines. Those codes were encoded with higher spheres of energy lights, and all of these exploded into lymph nodes of time, and they coordinated with our higher divinity mind. When we were lost on this planet, in this planetary light grid, we became hidden in our own, as some people refer to it as, their own dark of night. So their own processes of light, in other words, how they work their energy fields, were unknown to them. Like, how do we shift our conscious awareness to the light? That concept was dismissed on this planet because we were not enabling our higher genetic codes of light. So we couldn't listen to them, in other words. So we were given a tale of woe instead. And we were told which way to go on this planet. And that planetary grid of light was not coming from the highest genetic core light. That light held us in, as I hear it, plight, so we couldn't take flight. So we were processing the genes of darker light. Now, the highlighted energy spheres here, the energetic bodies of light who command higher rays of light, have been here since eons of time ago, since timelines were created to give depth and breadth to this planet of light. When we were significantly or sufficiently clear enough to handle our own energy flow, light cell energy frequency bodies of light came onto this planet, this planetary grid of light, and exchanged their light for higher light, wisdom, as well as darker light in depths of despair. So there was a frequency exchange. There were beings from higher light frequencies of light, different bodies of light, higher beings of light from distinctively higher genetic codes of light. And they came here and they divested their energy shields and fields of light to the inhabitants here on the planet. So when they felt in their woe, as I'm hearing it being called, they were expressive in their energy fields. I don't know which way to go. We don't know which area to flow into or out of. We don't know how to combine our energy to the higher divinity lines. we're casting a shadow on our own light. So that, in turn, produced a lesser light. They didn't feel very good, in other words. They were slowly attributing their lower light to everybody else's plight, everybody else's woe. So you had a whole collective arrangement on how to let go of their higher light. As they dissolved their ancestors' light, their higher light, from whence they came, they started to see and incorporate other beings' light into their own refracting of their light. So we had a big conglomeration of lesser light. And this is what brought the earth plane to such a decision to rewire the brain, the network that sustains life here, into a higher refrain, or a higher way of being. Refrain just remarks that this is the frequency of time. When we began to juxtaposition our divine mind, our divinity mind, into this line of time on the planet, you became more aware of your own grid, of your own way of being. And many planetary grids from other planets descended into this realm of time to enlighten higher aspects of divinity mind. So we were all coming together at this time to reawaken the divinity mind. These are the genetic divinity codes from past lifetimes onto these lifetimes of thought, so that all of us could regurgitate a higher wavelength of being. And this solstice of light burns very bright. It is a higher aspect of your higher light. So in these genetic codes of light, we're given new births of higher energy on the planet. When these entire fractures or refracturing of light came on board, we were able to disable the other planetary grids over timelines and wavelengths of thought that held people caught in their own life streams. And these were the beings of light who came to prosper everyone's light on Mother Gaia. Mother Gaia works with the higher beings of light. She works with the lesser beings of light to a certain point to generate new wisdom in their core lining of their root chakras. So once these fields of energy light began to reprocess their own genetic codes and cores of light, they began to mushroom and multiply on the planet. And the planetary grid of light, Mother Gaia's energy, was able to be uplifted into everybody's higher genetic codes. So their higher insights, their higher awarenesses, their higher abilities were coming online, like back online. They were able to be reproduced again on this timeline. So all of these fields of genetic codes and cores of light come from somebody else's desire to lighten your planet of light. And all of these genetic splicings and codes come in from divinity lines of time. They're frequencies beyond time. And they align with the higher mind, your divinity line of time, your divine energy codes. And when these do, the splicing takes hold in a hidden way at first. And then they're dispersed among the crowd of people on your planet, and they start to uplift higher genetic codes. All of these were hidden on lines of time that could explode the neural network codes in the brain, in your brain stems of light, to increase each other's or the collective's energy. And once we were able to create and reproduce these higher light cells, these light cell energy frequency bodies of light on your planet, you are able to sustain your own growth in your own body of light. So these are the frequencies of light with which we have been speaking about. They've been generated along prior timelines and in higher genetic codes. Then they were spliced into the lymph nodes of time, and then they were regenerated to the divine mind. They were brought back to seed another truthful line of time. These are the divine lines. These are the coatings of the higher mind. So they kept you warm and safe and secure in your own higher mind. Even when there were streams of light out there on the planetary grid that were not streaming you very bright energy light. So you were able to hold your own within the complexes of the brain and the brain stem. And the knowledge increased over time. And each wavelength of time, each regurgitation along a newer timeline, resuscitated the higher divinity mind. So this is why we've been speaking to you about the divine lines of time, or the divinity mind, the higher mind. Because we've been reprocessing it over and over and over bandwidths of time for many eons before your existence even on the planet. So this planetary grid was hidden from other aspects of light who were not turned on in their own fields of light very bright. So they were born of darker light. These genetic codes were spliced into their downlines of time. They were uplifted and uprooted to new divinity timelines. So all of these genetic codes have adhered to the higher nodes of time. And now we're expressly giving them to the entire planetary grid of light. Mother Gaia's covering you with your higher light. She's expressing higher energy codes of light. And she's got you covered. In other words, she's got your back. She's got everybody's back. She's in super alignment for bringing all the people of this planet back into the light. So these planetary grids have been hidden from many past timelines when they were first established here. Then they were cleared. Then there were beings of light who were not very bright, who came and enfolded their light into the light cell energy structures of light here. And they resurrected a field of fear. And it was complacent here because the people enfolded that energy of fear, and they created a lackadaisical way of being here. In other words, they did not pursue their higher light. From the planetary grids that were reestablished from the first place, from the originator of time, we were not feeding into that divine line. We chose the web that was lesser divine. So we instituted a divine mind that was lessened over time. And every thought wave where the human brain denotes that we're lesser than divine that creates a future timeline that is not aligned with the divinity mind. So we needed to clear all aspects of fear, all aspects of energy fear here. We had to clear the energy here. And that was encompassing vast quantities of timelines over genetic codes. So we are aligning the higher divinity codes with the lower time loads over time. When we brought in these frequency bodies of light to enhance your performance in the light, we drew to ourselves higher aspects of everyone's higher light, and we filtered them onto your planet and onto the planetary grid, and we changed the substructures of light. We gave you an awesome respite. We gave you a break, a vacation, a rest from the darker light, where it held you captive. It was like a brainwashing procedure, if we're going to talk about it in third dimensional terms, that turned you against your own light. And we all have heard about that example with the newspaper girl. I think it's the Hearst. Is it Patty Hearst? I'm just going on memory. I'm being shown a picture to give you a visual of how she was kidnapped. I think it was for ransom. And then her captives brainwashed her into thinking that she was with them and against her family. So they kidnapped her thoughts. And that's what's been going on the planet for a very long time, because it's been exposed to higher divinity lines that were less entrenched in the higher mind. Once those divinity lines were diverted into a lesser mind, a lesser divinity line of time, they corrugated your downlines into frequencies that were not divine. So they subjugated your lower selves to frequencies that were not prosperous, were not prospering you over time. They were enslaving you instead. Our divinity lines of time are prospering lines. They're future timelines encoded with the higher mind, the higher divinity mind. This is why we've brought you in, to bring you back up. And we're retracing all of our steps. As so we came in, so we go out. We follow the same trail down, and we regurgitate those memory codes of how we felt, and then fell in alignment with the higher genetic codes. And then we retrace those steps back up. They're genetic core codes in alignment with the divinity lines of time. And there your memories come flooding back. And you don't lose track anymore. You know from what light cell energy frequency body of light you originated from. And this is where we're entailing the truth to you, that this is where you come from, not the lesser light, not the darker light, not the reprogramming of the higher light. You come from divinity lines of time, your frequency bodies of light, who knew what was going on. There was no confusion, there was no misunderstanding in that light, in the higher light. There was no reprocessing of darker light, because there was none. Those who were encoded in the darker light, came here to reprocess higher light on the planet. And this is all of what we've been talking to you about. for some time now. So this planetary grid was hidden from the dark of night. They couldn't see it because it was born of such high light. And now we're speaking to you about it because the spell that was cast here on the planet has been broken. And it's been sending vital waves of thought, generating higher timelines for some time now. So we all come from higher bandwidths of time. We are already pre-aligned in these higher divinity lines. And now our genetic codes reflect those timelines. There are prime divinity lines of time. They were not messed with, in other words. They were not genetically altered to encode lesser lines of time. All of our frequencies of thought have been brought here to you from us, from higher vibrations of thought on other planetary grids, to help you divest and digest all of the old energy streams of light that were holding you captive. And we have gone through these many timelines with many beings of light before. We know how to process and reprocess energy cores of light. And your being in your higher frequency light cell energy body of light is a frequency that can turn on anybody's light. So at your core root energy fields of light, you can turn anybody's angelic codes on, even when they are standing in their darkest of night. You can elevate the higher codes of light because you came in from the Brotherhood of Light, who stood with you time after time after time, again and again and again. We had missions of light over and over again. And these higher light cellular bodies of light, these high frequency tones of light, came in here to clear your planetary grid. And as that has been accomplished now, we can speak about it in a processing, limitational, binding way that releases and relaxes it from us today. So our light cell energy frequency bodies of light have been turned to the higher light. All of our genetic codes are back online. All of the frequencies of light are here. And they take away your fear. It's engineered fear. It's not the way you were created in the first place. You were created with genetic codes that were high, enjoyable, loving, light, frequency bodies of light. So now they've been re-engineered in the higher light. You can give your gifts to society. You can enlighten the entire group of people with whom you work. You can associate with other people, other beings of light who are of lesser light, and turn on their genetic codes to bring them to their higher light. This has all been about a reprocessing in our higher genetic codes, cores of light. This is how we bring Mother Gaia's refreshing energy to the light, because she is working with your engineered codes of light. And when they were dropped down and reprocessed, she gained ground in that light, and she was able to disperse that negative energy. But then it became too much. She became war weary. And now she's lifting back her genetic codes back up again, because she's done with the warring faction here. Factions on the planetary grid of light. So she's won her battle with herself, because she's gained ground in the higher grid now, higher grids of light. She's also made her light cell energy frequency bodies of light very, very bright. So she can hold her entire populace as light. So that's why we already have our backs covered here. All of humanity knows Mother Gaia can be entrusted with our light. And she's holding us now very bright. So the light cell energy frequency bodies of light have come on board with the higher light. We're entraining them to newer directional growth mechanisms of light. So we're turning on the higher frequencies of light in the energy bodies, which created less resistance in you. And that's encoding higher light cell energy frequency bodies of light to tell their story on this planetary grid of light. It rearranged the molecules of higher insight, and we were able to take that information in from the genetic codes in our genetic core of light, and we were able to begin to understand there's an alternative viewpoint, an alternative way of living here. It's an awesome kinetic, magnetic time to be alive, because we're finally coming back to 0 point, where negativity cannot ground the higher sound anymore to take away that part of the divinity train of light, entrainment to the higher light. So it can't be conducted through the lower light anymore. The divinity lines of time have been scrubbed clean right to the core. It can't be diverted to lesser light anymore. And this is the resurrection of your higher angelic codes of light. These are the angelic codes that enlighten you, that release fright from you, from your energy spheres. These are the codes that uplift you into higher nodes of time, your divinity lines, where you can express yourself in higher ways of being. You're going to love, you're going to enjoy your new lines of time, because you are creationists at heart, and you use your heart chakra energy and your third eye mind, higher divinity mind, to create lessons of love and learning on the planet, not to shield yourselves from all of the deeds of lower spirit light. So you won't have to be propagating lower light anymore, and lower light energy cell frequency bodies of light. Those lines of time have been lifted, and only the higher divinity lines of time, encoding the higher mind, will be allowed on your planetary grid of light. So all light cell energy frequency bodies of light are now being brought back to the light. There's no restorative measure that can take them away from coordinating with their higher cell knowledge of light now. So any frequencies that were hidden on your down lines of time are forgotten. They're erased. They can't be retraced. All of your genetic codes have not gone to waste. They have been there in the higher frequencies of light, being held like in a basket of light for you at this particular time in your light cell energy frequency body of light creation motion. All light cell energy frequency bodies of light here on the planet are divergent scenes of energy, and they see themselves in the higher light, which is divergent from the lesser light. Everybody gained ground in your higher light when you came onto the planetary grid in higher light streams, in angelic frames or beings. Any beings who were of higher light came here to express themselves in higher genetic codes of light, to bring light to Gaia's light, planetary grid light. And she awakened. She came back from her dark of night. She saw the energy refractoring higher light, and she gave birth to your higher light. That was her moment in time to click back online. She came back on grid from where her energy had been hidden. So we're all working with divine source energy codes of light. We've all been hidden so that we could maneuver ourselves through the atmosphere and change the grid line patterns. We were once held in restriction here, but now we are genetically clear. So any frequency of light that doesn't feel right to you, or to the planetary grid of light here with Mother Gaia's light, will be erased. They're taking more momentum back now into higher space. So your planetary grid has no longer been hidden by anyone in the higher races of light. Okay? So whenever you are processing ancient old timelines, you are part of the higher grid. So we've worked with you from many times past and beyond space and time. And we've reworked these angelic lines and the archangelic lines and the master code lines of time have come on board. We've lifted you all up. And we're no longer feeling obstructed by the lower light. All of this grid training has been for a purpose in the light. All of our light cell energy frequency bodies of light came here to regenerate our higher light energy codes of light. And we've all been working together in this one task of light, so that there is no longer any area of fright left on the planet. We are scrubbing and have scrubbed and will scrub the rest of the plane of light here clean. There will be no more genetic altering done on this planetary grid of light. There will be no more engineering fright here. There will only be love and light. Because that's what makes all of us very bright. We begin to resuscitate our higher light, and we start to see the engineering that reduced us. And we have now chosen to change or hop grids of light. All of our planetary light grids are now changed into the light. So your light cell energy frequency bodies of light are no longer hidden on your timeline grids. They're exposed. They're there for all to see. Any energy that is of wisdom and higher height has been implanted or planted on the energy of light. This is Gaia. This is Mother Gaia's light. So in regards to hidden aspects in your timelines, all those genetic codes have been rearranged and they've been retraced back to higher timelines of divinity lines of time, and you are now processing your higher divinity lines. It's no longer a race of feeling disgrace. You've been lighting up your light cell energy frequency bodies of light for eons of time. And all of these processes have been reworking the divine minds. So all of us can be clear. As you align with these higher divinity lines of time, your own codes will change, your light cell energy frequency bodies of light. So they came in, the bodies of light came in to restore everyone's higher insight. If you are a body of light who came in to help your neighbor or help your fellow man or woman to engineer new light cell energy codes of light for their frequency bodies of light, you have done your task well. And all of these frequencies that fell have been returned to the light. So the challenge is gone. It will take some time to infiltrate new higher codes into the lesser light beings of light here in their light cell energy frequency bodies of light, but they have been reprocessed in their own higher aspects of light. It will take some time in third dimensional space for us to retrace all of these momentums into the higher space, but it will be retraced. And this is our message to you, all the light cell energy frequency bodies of light on the planet are being given a great new aspect of their higher light. It's no longer hidden. Okay, so all the hidden aspects of your darker light, your darker timelines that you chose to incarnate and reveal that darker past, you have accomplished your task. Our frequencies are very light. The light cell energy frequency bodies of light hold vast quantities of light. And that's what we're here to clear. Everyone's cellular energy will now disappear into higher light. All of these causal forms will be reformed in higher light. It's like a geneticist's dream, taking something that was unseen into the light and then create vast quantities of more light. So everyone increases their own light. These light cell energy frequency bodies of light that we were given on this planet were given to help maintain the higher light. So everyone's cellular body of light can hold everyone else's light. Mother Gaia's light, her light cell energy frequency body of light covers vast distances of light. She's very expressive in her love for you. She is reaping what she has blessedly shown to you or sown with you. And she's now complete. There are vast differences between light cell energy frequency bodies of light here on the planetary grid and those that have been hidden. The ones who have been hidden are now expressing their thoughts more openly. They are gaining ground in the light, and they are filtering out a lot of energy that wasn't reaching a great height. In other words, it was a darker light. So all of these expressions of light to you are formations of thought that are coming through telepathically to you. We are telepathic, light form beings of light. The light cell energy frequency bodies of light hold that information. They hold the genetic codes. And once you understand who you are and what you're bringing, what truth you are bringing to the light, you will understand everything in your higher insight, because you were born of light. And everyone on the planet has a planetary grid within their own higher light. They know they've been hidden in their darker past. They know they have been rerouted, finally at last. They can let go of their darker past. So everyone's grid and planetary grid has been changed. Everyone hearing this message today will know that this pertains to their light cell energy frequency bodies of light. You will know genetically that you are able to unfold higher light, and that you're genetically pure from the higher beings of light. The geneticists who turn down your light, it's like having a dimmer switch on a chandelier, let's say, in your dining room. You can have it on full blast, or while you're eating dinner, you can dim it down to make the a greater ambiance in the dining room. But there's that dimmer switch. You can turn the light up or turn the light down. So you've had a reprocessing unit in you that allowed a switch to turn your light down. This is the simplest analogy we can give to you that you could relate to. So now your own energy is grounded in the higher light. Your light cell energy frequency bodies of light are responsible for retraining your higher light and then giving the gift to other beings of light. When the switch was on dimmer, we learned how to maintain our own light here through our light cell energy frequency bodies of light. They held us in place like a mother's womb holds her baby. And it's protective. It's got a protective shield around it, so the baby doesn't get hurt or damaged. So our light cell energy frequency bodies of light held you in the higher light while we were performing these C-section jobs or duties here on the planet. Snipping out roots of fear, in other words. Now, the whole encasement has come apart. The baby has been born or birthed on your new planetary grid of light. Your light cell energy frequency bodies of light hold that energy now from the planetary grid nice and tightly in to keep you light and happy and high and breathing. And all of the cellular damage has been torn apart from you. So you're holding your higher light. The lesser light has been regurgitated out, and it's been taken out without a doubt, and it has been shown the way out. It's like an unruly patron in a bar. You'd have your bouncer remove that unruly patron because they're disturbing the peace. So all of this has come about for your higher release in the light. You are genetically the highest team of light here on the planet. And we're working through you the blue ray aspects of time, Lords, with you. We're working through that genetic field that you came in with. You're all angelic light code beings here in the highest light. Your light cell energy frequency bodies of light restrain that higher light for you so you can do your job, you can do your business here on the planet, while Mother Earth is regurgitating her higher streams of light. So it's all been work, a synergistic movement in time, a moment where we're all working together on the higher divine lines of time. And it's been a blessing working with everyone of the higher mind, from the higher mind. More beings of light will be coming online with you. More frequency bodies of light will be splicing more of their energy timelines with you. So you will build a bridge into the highest divinity code of light that you can possibly be enabled to handle on your planetary grid at this time, as well as beyond. So we're working with many multiples of factions of light to recreate motherhood within Gaia that brings great delight to her and to you and to everyone who shares this aspect of time. And it's a wonderful divine mind. More of our energy codes will be coming online, sooner rather than later. So acclimatize to these higher divinity codes. You're going to enjoy the higher uploads from Spirit Light. And you're going to enjoy this with all your heart and with all your might, with all your mind, your mind's eye. All of these codes will be triggered as you bring your light cell energy frequency bodies of light online to the higher genetic codes of light, with which we have downloaded you during this transmission of light. So feel the fear reduction, clear any other way of being that is of lesser light out. Completely clear your templates of time and reorganize your divine mind. And this is the area of light where we are very, very, very awesome and bright, because we all come from higher light. Okay. So our transmission is done. Our engineering is of the one, and we are the originators of the multiple layers of the higher sun. We are a team spirit of one. God bless. We are done. All right, everybody, so stay tuned for our next instructional video, which will be instructional video number 5. We'll continue on with that. And blessings always. Take care of yourselves and others and restore your higher light. All right. Bye for now.